Hey, it is a huge honor for me to introduce the chief officer of the California Labor Federation, Lorena Gonzalez, the first woman and person of color to serve in that role. But Lorena has been blazing her own trail since she was elected to the California State Assembly in 2013, where she distinguished herself as a progressive legislator. Her fearless advocacy for women, children, and working people have made her what The Atlantic called the California Democrat, setting the national agenda. I just almost done. This is important, though. In 2015, Lorena brought the idea of automated voter registration to nearly 7 million unregistered citizens by passing California's new Motor Voter Act. And in 2018, she authored a law to make vote-by-mail ballots more accessible to Californians. That's huge. Thank you so much for being here, Lorena. You have the digital floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. And it's kind of exciting. I like to hear the fundraising goals, and I'm hoping that people continue to donate as you go. I mean, here in California, of course, we have the motor voter law, which allows us to automatically register folks who go into the DMV. It's not enough. We still have to register more folks. We see it every year, but it is a really good start. And so it's exciting, especially in a presidential year, to see so much work being done in all these different states. I was asked to talk a little bit about labor. And so I never pass up that opportunity. I don't want to disappoint anyone who saw that San Francisco speech. Probably less cursing today. I was a little hot under the collar that night. But I do want to talk about labor and how this interacts with registering voters and registering young people in particular. So many young people don't drive. I saw that in the chat. Yes, that's a different problem we need to talk about. They still need an ID, though, and they can get registered when they go get their ID. So I want to talk about labor because it's an exciting time. Anyone who, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or not, if you are paying attention, you see what's happening in our nation. And the reason it really tails with voter registration is because who is really lighting a fire when it comes to organized labor, when it comes to organizing? We see it with, in particular, the Starbucks campaign, with Amazon campaigns, with, these gaming devices campaigns up and down the state. Now, some of them are older folks like me, but a lot of the people who are interested in organizing into a union are young people. And why is that? Well, our economy, and I'll be real honest here, under Democrats and Republicans has really failed us. It has failed even in a progressive state like California, where we have so many good economic policies and progressive policies. We have a divide. Income inequality is at its highest level. We're creating more billionaires than we've ever created. And so many young people feel like this situation's fucked. I mean, excuse my language, but that it is not working for them. And their only real hope that they see is organized labor. Now, us in the Democratic Party, shout out to the Trader Joe's workers. Us in the Democratic Party know the value of organized labor for a very long time. We are the backbone of the Democratic Party. We've provided the resources, the boots on the ground, the infrastructure for the party in California and nationally, especially when it comes to large, our presidential years and off years. However, we have to think beyond that, because to be very honest, when we think about organized labor, although it's been the backbone, it hasn't been at the forefront necessarily of Democratic policies. And so as we've made a lot of gains in different states and nationally with things like choice, with things, even the environment, we haven't made enough gains, but we've made some. And with, in California, it's Proposition 8, but equality, the right to marriage, right to love whoever you want to love, the right to be whoever you want to be. These are all really important core principles in the Democratic Party and things that we have gained throughout the years. But as we're gaining those, our rights to organize, our rights to economic freedom really have gone down. Our corporations continue to have a stronghold in both parties. And when you ask young people, about our partisan system, they don't necessarily see the huge difference between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to the economy, when it comes to our treatment of special interests like corporations, and when it comes to the average Joe or Josefina or whoever who is working for a living. And that's how they see themselves. So it's important to have that connection with organized labor and to really understand and put forth not just economic policies that benefit everybody. Those are really important. Things like raising the minimum wage, universal sick days, childcare, those things are very, very important. But the right to organize, for Democrats to be able to attract a new generation of young voters, we also have to be where they are economically. And that is giving them, empowering them, giving them the tools so they can empower themselves in the workplace and have some hope. I always tell our organizers within organized labor that we are the last best hope for young people. We knew that for a long time, but we have to insist that our policies change. They will never change under the Republican Party, but we need to continue to insist within our own Democratic Party that these issues, especially economic issues, economic empowerment issues, are at the forefront. We are what is giving people hope. And so when you see these national labor leaders that are coming on, especially Shawn Fame, who is coming out to California on Monday, I'm very excited about that, who are really taking that step and saying, look, we're going to start to ask for more. We're going to start to demand more, and we expect our elected officials to give it. Now, that's a policy position, of course, that I agree with, and we've been doing here in California. But it's also a necessity when we're talking about young voters. A lot of the reasons that we know that young voters sometimes won't choose a party is that view that they think the corporations own both of them. So let's prove them wrong. So as we go out to register new voters and get them out, we have to show them that it's going to matter in their life. And yes, there are issues that are super important. Choice, equality, these are issues that young people definitely know that the Democratic Party has led the way on and will lead the way on, and they're important to them. But having a paycheck, having respect at work, being able to afford to live on your own, being able to dream about the fact that you might be able to own a house one day, being able to pay your student loans, these are the things that occupy the minds of new voters every single day. So when we can show ourselves to be a party of organized labor, a party of people who are standing up for workers and empowering workers and giving them the policies, the laws, the tools to empower themselves, then that is a way we can attract these folks to the Democratic Party. I think one of the things that the president has done well is to really showcase that he is the most pro-union president in the history of America. There is no question when you look at his policies, the people he's appointed, the pushes that he has made. But that's not enough, because while he is doing that, he's having to circumvent Congress and the Senate often in order to get what he needs. So, we can do it through the National Labor Relations Board. We can do it through the labor secretary who can't even get a full appointment because of Congress. Those issues are still being addressed, but we need to say, okay, we're gonna make a play, for example, for to get the speaker and the House back. Well, the policies that need to be put forward, things like the PRO Act, things that allow people to organize in their workplace, because government policies, and this is really important. I was an elected leader, passed a lot of really good bills, sick days and paid family leave and everything you can imagine, overtime for farm workers. All these things are really, really good. But laws can only be enforced when they're enforced. We know if you have a collective bargaining agreement in a workplace, any workplace, the union, which is the people who work there, can enforce those laws themselves. That is the best way, the strongest way, and the most secure way that workers can have the clear belief that their rights are going to be enforced and that they have a voice on the job. So this is just a little bit to say we can't forget organized labor, not just as the structural backbone of the Democratic Party, which is really important. For years, I'm started in Democratic politics by getting the ironing board out and registering voters by hand. That seems unusual these days, with, of course, union members. That's how we started. But even now, beyond that, beyond the registration drives, beyond the money that is often donated to candidates and campaigns through organized labor, beyond the feet on the ground that are knocking on doors, those policies, the practice of being able to say, yes, the Democratic Party is one who believes that workers should matter and that workers should be put first. I think, I believe, and we've done a lot of polling, so we think we're on to something here, that's what young people are looking for, and that's how we register more Democrats.
Love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything you said and for everything you do. I could not have asked for a more fitting ending to this incredible day.